Hello, hello, everyone. This is a special quickie or / rapid pod.
Candace's
Welcome.
Quickies.
Candace's Quickies. Welcome, I'm Candace.
And here's the quickie.
We're going to take an
Here's the
opportunity
quickie.
to do a little quick pod around some game-specific stuff, some more generic stuff rather than content around what we saw on the weekend. So I think this is going to be hopefully quite helpful. We'd love your feedback on these. This is the first of Candace's Quickies. We probably need to come up with a better name, but let's run with that for the time being.
Maybe we'll do more and we'll figure it out.
Well, I thought this was quite a good one to start with. This is my idea. As referees, we're going to frame this around a community referee who gets appointed a mod on a weekend, how to maximize that relationship with your mod and get the most out of that. So hopefully that's enough
context. And for the viewers listening at home, a mod is a match official developer or a referee coach in the old terms.
And that's an interesting starting point for me, the coach mindset. I'm listening to an audiobook at the moment called The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma, and he talks about high-performing people have coaches, have mentors. High-performing referees have coaches. They have mentors. In fact, they have many. Community referees, we've still got the same desire to improve, and it's easier to improve when you've got someone to work with. I wanted to frame this around not a season mod, but this conversation around a mod with a Saturday game. You might get your appointment through on the Monday or Tuesday or, God forbid, the Thursday, Friday. Let's say it's got Rob Mackay on there as your mod for the weekend. How do you do that relationship? Rob, what do you do when you see that on your appointment sheet?
As a mod or as a ref? Match official. So the first thing I do is work out who it is, how I know them, can I contact them, and get in touch with them.
Yep. Candace.
I would do the same. So if I didn't have like a mentor that I normally have and I actually got appointed a mod, I would ask around if anyone knew their numbers and try to get in contact with them either that same day when I know I have that appointment to arrange a time when it suits both of us to have a chat. So that's the first thing about timing, because we're all busy. So it's finding a time that works to get in contact. Yeah,
for sure. And I'm a bit the same. If I see I've got a mod appointed, I think, do I know them? Have I got their number? What do I want to get out of it? So I think for me, most referees should already have their own game plan in place. Some referees are very formal about it. I was most impressed when I watched Gussie Gardner's pre-game preparation document. I saw that, and it's deep. It's deep. Team details, my ARs and TMO, and what competition laws do I need to remember? What are the team colours? What's the ground like? What's the forecast weather? And then he's got the front of mind things before the game. That's level of detail is absolutely fantastic. And when you're being paid to do it, and go to those depths,
into that detail.
There's nothing stopping a community referee having something similar. Every single game I did for a long time there, I had a little notebook. I write down focuses for this week.
Journal.
Yeah, focuses for this
Keith
week.
Lewis's referee journal, by the way, best thing ever.
That's a great way to do it. Focuses for this week. Any notes about the team? Some key player stuff. And what time am I getting to the ground? Those sorts of questions. And for me, the first point with that mod relationship, you should be sharing that with your mod.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a master-servant relationship.
Very much so.
That's something we need to remember.
You have to approach them.
But it's not like the school teacher or the police officer. It's not about marking you, and that's why it's a match official developer. It's actually about uplifting you and making you better. So we're not there to say, oh, you missed 6 knock-ons, 4 forward passes, and you were shit with your law. It's about saying,
looking at the bigger picture as well.
Yeah. What are your areas we want to focus on, and how do we make you better?
And I think it's really worth noting at this point, that mod will not be deciding whether or not you get the Shoot Shield Grand Final this weekend. That's what a lot of new referees think. Who's this bloke? Are they a selector? Are they going to help with that? If you do that, that's the short road to the end. Using that relationship to get the most out of them, ask them as a mod what their strengths are. And some mods are really good on giving you some data feedback. Some are really good on helping you with the positioning. Some are really good with specific parts of the game. To share that relationship, have that conversation is a really powerful way of using that.
So in terms of like what you do to go through with them, do you feel like on that call we'll have to make sure about, obviously you'll discuss who you have coming up that weekend. You'll probably talk through like how your last match went, your work-ons and everything. With that, do you find that making sure that you have a meetup time with them on the day beforehand, like to maybe see them in person is important?
Absolutely. I think that's really important. In many ways, it might be gauging your trust with them. Can I say that some mods I haven't trusted as much as other mods. That's also an important thing. I'm a pretty open book when it comes to this, but I know some referees don't like to release all of their ambitions of the game. I don't like that. I think the sharing enables more benefit out of that relationship. But certainly meet before the game, have a chat. Some of the things you might cover off there are, do you want to speak to them at halftime in the game?
Yeah, that's really important.
When do you want to do the feedback after the game? That sort of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to debrief straight after the game, or do you want to do it Monday, Tuesday? When's a better time to review? And do you have a comms kit that the mod wants to set you up with?
That's actually a really important part of that relationship.
Yeah,
because if you've got that, then you've got to allow extra time. You've got to allow time to get set up. You've got to make sure you've got the right gear to put the kit on. You've also got to run some tech across to the AV people at the ground. So
also they might want to listen into how you brief players as well. Might be that early. I've had
correct
mods that want to listen in how I brief because they want to see the whole picture.
Yeah, how you set up a game, because that could be a work on, because you might have an issue where you've got lots of back chat or your scrums are a mess, and half the success in that is what you say before you even run onto the pitch. So they might want to wire you, an hour before the game or 30 minutes before the game so that you can get your pre-matches in, and also how you manage yourself in that time, because that might be the issue as well, because you're on your phone and playing game or whatever it might be. Well, hang on.
Sometimes I've gone to the bathroom and realized they can hear everything.
Yes, there are countless stories about that.
I'm going to leave that well alone because I've never done anything like that.
No, but you're on comms, you're sitting in the grandstand, and you know exactly where someone is. Not good.
I can remember one particular referee from the Northern Beaches who used to quote a line out of Austin Powers about number 2. And yes, that was always very funny, Schultzy. I think that's a great option to use the mod then, because in practice that credibility as a referee, it doesn't start when you blow the whistle, it starts before the game. So I think that's a great use of a mod, but to put boundaries around it too, you as a referee need to know what you need at halftime. I actually do need some headspace time to reframe myself, and I don't want people talking at me there. But it took me a while to realize that. I love having a mod talk to me at halftime about anything I'm missing. Talk to me about if I'm having a game that's quite officious with lots of penalties. I actually like to know the penalty count. I wouldn't encourage that for all referees, but for me, I'm a numbers-driven guy. I really like that. So to know yourself, to know what you want out of that relationship and to drive that. But also sometimes if the game's just going to custard or going really well, you say, don't need it today. Thank you. I know I said I wanted it at halftime, but I'm actually really comfortable today. So it's up to you to drive that relationship. As a referee, it's really important to own your mindset there. But you've got a great tool that you can use for that in a mod.
And the game variable may also have appointed ARs. So you've got 5 minutes. You might want to spend every one of those minutes with the game ARs talking about your team of 3.
Yep.
And at that point, you probably don't need your mod intervening as such. You might want it.
Yep.
They might be listening in to see how you manage and how you start those conversations and work-ons and what's happening. Yeah.
Or they may not be able to come onto the field or meet you.
Yeah, if it's raining and they want to be inside overseeing the field sort of thing. Is that what you mean?
So lots of reasons. So you just need to want to focus on your team of 3, and you might have a bunch of things you need to talk about. You don't have time for your mod to overlay as well. So it's each case on its merits.
Yeah, and for me, the more input, the better, to have a really good framework to work through. And I think the 4S's and I are a great framework to work through. How's our set piece going?
Yeah.
Scrums are okay.
Yeah.
Having problems with lineouts. What are you seeing, Rob? Candace, I know on your side we had an issue with the lineout. To frame it then, how's my space? Offsides are good. Move on.
Yeah. Just for people that might not be familiar. So in Australia we have the 4S's. And in I know it might be different in other countries. So
and we find that's a really good way to frame our review. So that the space, the speed of the ball at the breakdown, your set piece, your safety. And then the I is interactions. How are we managing the interactions with the various people? And quite often for me, that's where you need to refocus. And it's a good way to finish on the I so that you know how you're going to start the next half. So I think that's a really good way of using your mods if you've got them there.
And I guess finding out after as well, like Rob mentioned about when to meet up. Personally, some people might have access to view their match, so they might want to watch and record it, they might reflect on that. I remember when I was in London, we didn't have any videos. I had like a little booklet and I had like quick write downs of how I felt after, and then sort of parked that, and then was able to like sit on it a little bit, because then you would go and be able to spend time with the coaches and captains in the pub and stuff after. So that was quite interesting with doing that, and then probably following up with your mod after, because then you could use both reflection things, both from.
To be at the other side of the table as a mod, when a referee is that self-aware, that's a really good sign. When a referee's doing their own review and they ask you, do you mind if I do my own review? And then we chat. I love seeing that. That's a sign of self-awareness that I love. But some referees aren't that far through their journey, and that's fine to use the mod in the point in your journey where you're at the most effective way that you can use them. That's basically what we're trying to say here. Maximize that relationship.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge for the mod as well, to know the athlete, understand the person and what works for them.
That's a really unique relationship, by the way. I've always tried to frame that around, the celebrity coach coming to coach a team when the regular season coach is not there. That there is no tougher gig to step in to fill someone else's coaching shoes. So with refereeing, we have a really unique relationship there that sometimes some mods you only see once or twice ever, but they can leave a lasting impression. And you never know when they're going to be. For me, they're not the big name ones. I'm going to put a shout out to Mike Hobson. Didn't know Mike, and he watched me during the COVID window, and he gave me some feedback on a video when he was locked down in Sydney and we were still playing footy in Central West. How good was that? And he blew my mind. He seriously blew my mind. He reframed the way I thought about football. And, I had heard he was a good coach. His resume was, other than coaching, there's not much there, but geez, he's a good coach. So, yeah, shout out to Mike.
Yeah, he's a lateral thinker.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you need that every now and then just to reframe things. So, yeah, maximize that relationship. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. So.
I wanted to ask, how sometimes when you receive feedback, sometimes the hardest bit as a referee is to pick which ones I think are relevant to you, whether or not, I guess from a match official developer point of view, it's like also how to give that feedback to people. I think we've always been taught we need to make sure that the referee initiates the conversation. They're chatting and stuff. Sometimes match official developers just chat the entire time and you actually never get what they felt about their own game, but also getting that feedback might be quite difficult as well.
I think it's a good mod relationship when they see the front end, they know what you prepped for this week, and we have a discussion around the game, and then you wrap it up by saying, so how are you preparing for next week's game? Let's do that document now. And what from that do you need to implement next week's preparation? That's holistic coaching week in, week out.
But also your sweet spot, because there might be 50 things that have come out of the game where you can't just power through 50 things. You've got to, again, know your athlete and work out what's the bandwidth for focus, and do we need to give them a shit sandwich? Oh, you did a couple of things well and you did 3 things badly, and deliver that appropriately. Do we stick to 3 key points to work on next week? Or, hey, you had a great game, there's not much we can work on there. Let's focus on a couple of polish areas, the 1%ers. So you really got to work out what's appropriate as a mod for making the most of that match official, because everyone's different. They take feedback differently, and you need to understand how to deliver that feedback and the quantum of it as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's a real challenge. That's why I love it so much. It's there's no perfect answer, and you can really make a difference.
I agree. Well, that was a good wrap up of our first Quickie Pod. Thank you all for listening about our pre-game match with match official developers.
Anyone who's got any content they'd like us to focus on for these quickies, missing out. We've got a few coming up. Dealing with back chat might be one. Mauls, I think we spoke about. We'll do one on a maul. Mauls are hard.
They're so difficult.
Too
many elements.
They're beautiful. A thing of beauty.
A unique feature of our game.
Yes. Thanks, team.